If you lived in the eastern half of the country and were watching Johnny Carson 30 years ago tonight, this is what you would have seen and heard suddenly and without warning.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special bulletin from NBC News. Former Beatle John Lennon is dead. Lennon died in a hospital shortly after being shot outside his New York apartment tonight. A suspect is in custody but has not been identified. Again, John Lennon is dead tonight of gunshot wounds at the age of 40.
The voice of our longtime staff announcer, Fred Facey. And with that, NBC went back to The Tonight Show on tape, and a generation of Americans would never really be the same, nor would our music. New York radio stations played his music all day today, and they're playing music outdoors in the bitter cold tonight. Here's the scene in Strawberry Fields in Central Park here in New York. It's across from where Lennon lived and where people gathered that very night 30 years ago. Tonight we have something from John Lennon no one's ever heard, an interview he gave Rolling Stone magazine 3 days before he was killed. Here he talks about other musicians back then, one of them established, the other just emerging. So here now for the first time anywhere, John Lennon in his own words.
I'm interested in communicating whatever it is I want to say or produce in the maximum possible way. And this rock and roll is it. See, people are always judging you or criticizing you, or working out what you're trying to say on one little album, one little song. To me, it's a lifetime's work, you know, yeah. From the boyhood paintings and poetry to when I die. I brought Paul into the original group, the Quarrymen. He brought George in, and George brought Ringo in. I had a say in whether they did join or not, but the only initial move I ever made was bringing Paul McCartney into the group. The second person of that much interest to me as an artist and somebody who I could work with was Yoko Ono. In 20 years, I've worked very closely with two artists, Paul McCartney and Yoko Ono. That ain't bad picking. We're not the first to say Imagine No Countries or Give Peace a Chance, but we're carrying that torch, like the Olympic torch, passing it from hand to hand, yeah. You know, to each other, to each country, to each generation, and that's our job. God help Springsteen when they decide that he's no longer God. God help him when they hit him. Because now they're happy now. He's talking about, you know, being drunk and chasing girls in the car, and that's about the level they enjoy. But when he gets down to facing his own success and growing older and having to produce it again and again and again, and the little turds will turn on him. And I hope he's alive. The hardest thing is facing yourself. It's easier to shout revolution and power to the people than it is to look at yourself and try and find out what's real inside you and what isn't, when you pull the wool over your own eyes, your own hypocrisy. I've never claimed divinity. I've never claimed purity of soul. I've never claimed to have the answer to the life. I only put out songs and answer questions as honestly as I can. But only as honestly as I can. No more, no less. Yeah. We continue, you know, give peace a chance, not shoot people for peace. All you need is love. I believe it. It's damn hard, you know, but I absolutely believe it.
Think about this. Anybody under 30 has never known a world that included John Lennon. In that same interview, oddly, Lennon says he never wanted to become what he said people like James Dean and Sid Vicious became, a dead hero. John Lennon would have turned 70 years old this year. That's our broadcast for this Wednesday night. Thank you for being here with us. I'm Brian Williams. As always, we hope to see you right back here tomorrow evening. Good night.